Look closely because most men will never really see this. A woman can say, "I'm fine with her mouth," but her body has already told you the real story. Words are easy, bodies are honest. There is one part of her body that the moment she allows you to touch it, she is letting you in, deeper than most men will ever reach. And no, it is not what most guys instantly imagine. This is something far more quiet, far more telling, and far more intimate. It is the difference between a man she trusts and a man she simply puts up with. This is not about tricks or manipulation. It is about instinct and awareness. Women carry an internal radar that constantly scans for safety, authenticity, and emotional control. They sense who can handle their vulnerability and who cannot. Every movement, every shift in distance, every gentle or hesitant touch becomes a form of communication. Most men have forgotten how to read this language, but if you can see it and if you respond the right way, everything changes. The connection suddenly feels alive, almost electric, as if she is saying, without words, that she trusts you, that she feels seen by you, that you belong in that moment with her. You might already be wondering which part it is, and that question alone explains why most men fail. They focus on obvious flirting, on playful words, on surface-level signals. They chase reactions instead of understanding meaning. But there is one space on her body, small and seemingly harmless, that carries a deep emotional weight. When she allows you into this space, she is offering permission to be close, permission to step inside her inner world. Her defenses soften, her guard lowers. She is no longer holding herself rigid. She is leaning into you emotionally, even if she has not admitted it to herself yet. This has nothing to do with force or boldness. It has nothing to do with trying harder. It is about awareness, patience, and respect for what she is offering. Men who miss this moment often end up confused later. They wonder why she pulled back, why her tone changed, why the warmth disappeared overnight. What they did not realize is that they failed a quiet test they never knew was happening. The men who understand these moments, the ones who notice intentional, gentle gestures, are the men who stay in her thoughts when she is alone. They are the ones she remembers after conversations end. The truth is uncomfortable. Most men are distracted by ego, by attraction, by the need to impress. But real connection is not loud. It does not announce itself. It moves softly. It lives in subtle moments. And it begins with awareness. By the time most men realize they miss something important, she has already shifted. Emotionally, her trust has moved elsewhere towards someone who noticed her without needing explanation. Missing this is not just losing a chance, it is a sign that you were never truly seeing her. Women speak far more clearly through proximity, touch, and permission than they ever do with words. Once you understand that, the entire dynamic changes. You stop guessing. You stop performing. You stop trying to say the right things. You start seeing what is already there. And that awareness becomes the line between men she lets into her life and men she keeps at a distance. Now go deeper into this because that one part of her body is not just physical. It is symbolic. It is a doorway into her comfort, her vulnerability, and her unspoken trust. When she allows you to touch it, she is not measuring attraction alone. She is measuring your emotional intelligence. She is watching how you handle access. She is seeing whether you respect her signals or ignore them. This is where many men fail. They notice the gesture, but miss its meaning. Women have spent years learning how to read men's intentions. They can feel the difference between someone seeking a moment and someone capable of consistency. This small permission is her way of saying without saying it, "I am letting you closer, but show me you deserve it." This has little to do with desire and everything to do with safety, restraint, and emotional balance. If you mishandle it, you break the silent agreement. If you handle it well, you create a bond that deepens naturally over time. Here is where most men get it wrong. The moment they sense this opening, they rush. They assume access equals ownership. They confuse permission with entitlement. That mistake ends everything. This is not a guarantee of anything. It is an invitation to demonstrate calm, patience, and self-awareness. The men who succeed here move slowly. They mirror her comfort instead of overpowering it. They match her energy instead of escalating it. They protect the trust instead of consuming it. That is what makes them unforgettable to her. There is also a psychological layer most men never consider. Women do not offer this level of access casually. It is connected to deep emotional systems involving safety, bonding, and feeling valued. When she allows you close in this way, her mind begins linking you with calm and security. She starts associating you with emotional alignment, not just attraction. She begins imagining what it would feel like to let you into more areas of her life. Her thoughts, her fears, her private moments. Most men either push too far and turn trust into caution, or they fail to notice and lose the moment entirely. The men who understand what is happening respond by slowing down. They become more observant. They communicate without pressure. They create an atmosphere where she feels even safer than before. That is the shift. You're no longer just another option. You become the man she feels relaxed around. This has nothing to do with dominance or aggression. It is about presence, about being grounded, about emotional control. A woman will test you quietly, and this is one of the most revealing tests she will ever use. If you pass, her mind begins opening to you in ways she may never verbalize. If you fail, she pulls back without explanation, leaving you replaying conversations and moments, trying to understand what went wrong. Once you recognize the importance of this gesture, you gain insight most men never develop, a quiet advantage that decides whether you stay in her mind or fade from it. But noticing is only the beginning. Recognition alone is not enough. Responding correctly is everything. This is where trust is either strengthened or destroyed. She is not just allowing a touch. She's giving you responsibility. How you handle it tells her whether you are safe, emotionally steady, and aware, or just another man who did not understand the weight of what she offered. The first thing she looks for is patience. This is not about speed. Women instantly sense urgency and pressure. Even subtle desperation changes her emotional state. She watches how you react, how your energy shifts, how your eyes move, how your touch feels. Calm confidence signals alignment. Over-excitement signals lack of control. One response keeps the door open, the other closes it quietly. The next thing is respect. The space she allows you into is not permission to go further. It is a signal of trust, not ownership. Respect means understanding where she feels comfortable and where she does not. It means staying present without pushing. It means letting the moment breathe. When a woman feels respected, her body relaxes. When she feels rushed, it tightens. She may still smile, she may still talk. But the emotional connection begins to retreat. The men who understand this know when to pause. They know when less is more. They allow her to feel in control of her own boundaries, which paradoxically makes her feel safer opening them later. There is also consistency. Women notice patterns quickly. If your behavior changes the moment you feel closer, she senses it immediately. Consistency tells her you are stable. Sudden shifts tell her you are acting. Stability builds trust. Performance destroys it. When you stay the same person before and after she allows closeness, she relaxes further. She feels secure in your presence. That security is what deepens attraction over time. This is how emotional bonds form quietly, without force, without persuasion. Most men never learn this. They chase signals instead of understanding them. They confuse access with success. They rush moments that were meant to unfold slowly. But the men who understand these subtle permissions move differently. They listen more than they speak. They respond instead of react. They value trust more than validation. And because of that, they experience connections that feel deeper, calmer, and more real. This is not something you demand. It is something you earn by being emotionally present, self-aware, and respectful of what is unspoken. When you understand this, you stop chasing women. You start being the man they feel safe choosing. She hesitates, and you notice it instantly. Not in a dramatic way, not as something to point out or question, but as a subtle shift in her energy. Your response matters here. It is not about pushing forward or pulling away completely. It is about giving her quiet permission to move back or lean closer without feeling watched, tested, or judged. That sense of freedom is powerful. When she feels she can choose without consequences, something deeper begins to form. This is where a real bond starts to grow, one that goes far beyond surface level attraction. She begins to experience you not only as someone appealing, but as someone steady, safe, and emotionally aware. That mix is uncommon, and uncommon qualities always stand out. Rare things leave lasting impressions because they are not easily replaced. Awareness plays a huge role in this connection. Women communicate on many levels at once. A slight touch, a change in posture, the direction of her body, the smallest shift in her facial expression. All of these are messages. They reveal comfort, curiosity, hesitation, or trust. A man who truly understands this does not interrupt her rhythm. He does not rush to take control or overpower the moment. Instead, he stays present. He reads what is being offered and responds in kind. He matches her pace. He reflects her energy. When she gives a little, he meets her there, not by taking more, but by deepening what already exists. This builds trust naturally. It does not feel forced or calculated. It feels smooth and organic. This kind of presence has nothing to do with tricks or manipulation. It is not a tactic designed to get something from her. It is alignment. Your emotional state, your reactions, and your awareness move in sync with hers. When this happens, she feels understood without needing to explain herself. There are no awkward pauses or unnecessary words. The connection flows quietly. That feeling of being seen and felt without effort is incredibly attractive. It draws her in because it is rare and calming at the same time. Timing is just as important as awareness. Emotional access is fragile. If you respond too fast, she may feel overwhelmed or pressured. If you wait too long, she may wonder if her signal was missed or ignored. The right response sits in the middle. It is timely but calm. It shows you noticed. It reassures her without demanding anything in return. You acknowledge the trust she's offering, and you reinforce that her comfort matters more than your own wants or pride. When you do this, a chain reaction begins. Bonding deepens, attraction intensifies. She feels a sense of relief, like she can finally relax and be herself around you without performing or protecting herself. This is the invisible advantage most men never understand. They focus only on physical closeness. They chase obvious signs and rush toward outcomes. They misunderstand flirtation and overlook the quiet doorway she is opening. In doing so, they miss the moment entirely. The men who succeed notice the doorway. They respect it. They step through slowly and strengthen it with every interaction. Over time, this creates something lasting. You are no longer just another person passing through her life. You become someone she remembers, someone she feels a distinct and irreplaceable connection with. You occupy a space in her thoughts and emotions that others cannot easily reach. The first thing to understand is that this kind of interaction creates a deep, almost unconscious bond. Her mind starts linking you with feelings of safety, trust, and emotional harmony. She begins to associate your presence with calm instead of tension. She opens up in small ways at first. A thought here, a fear there, a moment of honesty that she does not offer to everyone. Many men see this opening and assume it is a green light to push further, to escalate, to take more. They mistake vulnerability for an invitation to hurry. But the men who truly succeed understand that this moment is not about advancing. It is about holding space. Holding space means you allow her to be exactly where she is without trying to move her somewhere else. You listen without fixing. You respond without correcting. You stay grounded instead of anxious. This signals emotional strength. It tells her you are not threatened by her feelings or dependent on her reactions. That sense of stability is deeply appealing. It allows her to trust you more because she does not feel responsible for managing your emotions. As this pattern continues, she starts to relax even more. Her guard lowers because she does not feel rushed or evaluated. She notices that time with you feels different. Conversations feel easier. Silence feels comfortable instead of awkward. There is no pressure to impress or perform. This emotional ease slowly turns into attachment. Not the unhealthy kind driven by fear or need, but a secure connection built on consistency and respect. Over time, she may find herself thinking about you when you are not around. Not because you overwhelmed her with attention, but because being with you felt grounding. Her nervous system remembers that calm. Her mind remembers that safety. When other men try to impress her with intensity or charm, it does not land the same way. They feel loud where you felt steady. They feel rushed where you felt patient. And that contrast matters. This is why presence always outperforms pursuit. When you are fully present, you are not trying to extract something from the moment. You are contributing to it. She feels that difference immediately, even if she cannot explain it. It shows in how she leans in emotionally, how she shares more of herself, how she stays connected long after the interaction ends. Eventually, she begins to trust not just what you say, but how you make her feel. And feelings are what last. Words fade, actions blend together, but the emotional experience remains. By honoring her pace, reading her signals, and responding with care and awareness, you create something that grows naturally. You do not force attraction, you allow it to deepen. And that depth is what separates temporary interest from lasting connection. When you master this, you stop competing with other men altogether. You are no longer trying to stand out. You simply do because what you offer is not noise or pressure. It is understanding, it is emotional safety, it is a calm confidence that he invites her closer without pulling. That is the kind of presence that stays with her. That is the kind of man she does not forget.